Hello. Oh, there we go. Had my microphone muted. There's a mute switch on my microphone that I didn't realize that I had pressed. So, I am online now, and I can see that I am online, but I'm going to have to rely on the chat to tell me that the audio is good. Rally Cat was already here hanging out. Hello, Rally Cat. And I'm not sure who else is here, but the count tells me there's like half a dozen people maybe sitting around, which is very nice and more than I expected for an impromptu stream on a Friday night, even though it's Saturday, because I don't know what day of the week it is, which just tells you the sort of week that I've been having. And I'm just sitting here, and I know I have to throw together a map for my D&D game. I actually don't have to throw together a map. But I decided I was going to throw together a map, and then I realized that this is exactly the sort of thing that we could just make a casual little hangout about. So here we are. I'm just going to be doing some mapping using Campaign Cartographer. I want to say that's my software of choice, but the truth is it's really, really not. I've owned Campaign Cartographer since the first Campaign Cartographer came out in like 94. And I have always never quite taken the time to actually master using it. I go through these periods where it's like, you know what? I'm finally going to get good at Campaign Cartographer. And I mean really good. Now, I'm no slouch at it, and I can make some pretty decent maps. And, oh, actually, I didn't realize that there's a map already loaded here, but this map kind of looks like crap here because I don't have the sheet effects turned on. But if I go ahead and turn on the sheet effects, and you can see that there's some political borders on there. But, yeah, I'm decent at it, and I like using it. And then every so often I remember that I have it, and then accidentally start using it briefly, and then eventually get frustrated with it because I can't make it do absolutely everything I want it to do, and then instead of learning it, I just stop using it. But this is actually the map, the map of the kingdom that my players in my Thursday night AD&D 2nd edition game are wandering about, and I just be touching this map. I'm going to be starting a new map, and it is a completely unnecessary map. It's a map that I don't need. So one of my players is breaking into a very simple inn at a market square. Just one of these little crossroads villages that pops up where roads come together, where there's farms around. The farmers gather together, and there's a market square, and then normal buildings pop up around it. A tinker to service their goods, and a baker, and hello Proselyus, and a baker, and an inn for travelers, and a little temple. See, it's that sort of thing. And the inn is currently, and the murder ties into the ongoing plot. And they got, I don't know if any of my players are actually listening and how many spoilers there. I did kind of put a warning in the description and the announcement that there might be some minor spoilers. It's not going to give anything much away. But they pretty much got most of the information that they were going to get just from talking to a couple of the villagers about what happened, and it kind of ties into the ongoing plot. But nonetheless, one of the players in, which is currently just closed up, and breaking into it's super easy. And it's totally unnecessary for me to have a map of it because it's the sort of thing that I could just scribble out at the table. And even if not, it is a ludicrously uncomplicated layout. And then there is no reason for me to make it like super nice or anything. But nonetheless, I just feel like doing some mapping. It's been a really shit week, in a shit month, in a shit year. And I feel like spending my Friday night, except it's Saturday, sitting here and drawing a map, and then I'm going to let people watch while I do it. Now, Campaign Cartographer is not the sort of thing that you, oh, oh pardon me. Campaign Cartographer is not the sort of thing that you just go into and start drawing. It doesn't work like that. You really want to kind of have a plan. And based on just randomly describing this in at the table... Oh, hello, DeHagley6795. Yeah, exactly. You get the map fever sometimes. I just want to make a map, and since they're going to make a map anyway, I might as well make it nice, and then I'm going to let people hang out and while I make it, and then we're going to make it extra nice. But, like I said, it's the sort of program that you want to go in with a plan. And I'm just going to quickly scribble here in Paint once that comes up on the stream. Because I had already kind of described it at the table, and you kind of want to go into Campaign Cartographer with a plan. So what we're looking at is a simple... oh, I cannot draw straight lines for the life of me. Simple rectangular... Ignore the fact that this is supposed to be straight lines. So it's actually a very simple building. We might add a little lean-to stable onto one side with a half wall, even though I don't know if I described that at the game. And I can see this isn't really showing up very well on the stream. I don't know why. I don't know why Paint isn't picking it up right. Okay, well, that's fine. You know what? Then we'll just kind of go into it, and then you can... let's just switch back to Campaign Cartographer and start mapping. I might be able to just draw freehand in there. But, okay. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and start a new map here. Yep, save changes. Oh, BC56 is hanging out. And we are going to do... We're not going to do a floor... We're going to do a dungeon. I'm going to use the dungeon setup here. And you can see I have a lot of different mapping templates that I never play with, but we're just going to use the basic setup. Dungeon Designer 3, which is an add-on for Campaign Cartographer. I'm gonna start, like, the size isn't gonna matter because I'm not gonna use the border or anything. The first thing I'm gonna do is erase the border and the template and everything, but roughly speaking, if I had to guess, what do we look at? 10, 20, 30, 30, and another 25. It's not gonna be more than 100 feet long, so let's give ourselves 150 feet to work with. And then width is probably going to be 30 feet, but I'm thinking it's probably going to have 3 levels, so we'll do 30, 60, 90. Let's just do a square. We'll do 150, 150. I don't think the copyright notice actually matters. And we'll call it in at the crossroads, even though I don't care about that. I don't want it to give me a background. I don't want it to give me a grid overlay. And then we're just going to get started, and we're going to finish. And then I have to put this... gosh, I probably shouldn't be showing you my file structure here. But, I don't think anybody can do anything with it. Okay, and the first thing I said... Whoops. Fall. Okay. And we're just going to erase everything and start fresh. And the first thing I like to do is I like to sketch out what I'm going to do. And there's going to be a lot of typos because I'm very typo-y. but we're going to create a new layer for the sketch. And I'm even going to create a new sheet for the sketch, even though that's not strictly necessary, but it'll let me add things on, and I'm just going to pick a purple color so that I can kind of sketch the layout. Line style is solid, and fill style, we're going to go with hollow here so that I can just sketch some boxes. Okay, so what I'm thinking is a very simple rectangular structure. I have sort of a pictured half-timbered, let's see, wait, can I do a freehand? I never use the freehand drawing tools in here, but okay. Yeah, so what I'm picturing, actually let's turn the line width up, and then we'll have to fill in the line, and this just so that it'll be a little bit more visible. Okay. Oh, okay, so this is how the freehand just works. Nope. Okay, so it's just freehand lines like that. Alright, so that's not going to do it. We're not going to try and do a freehand sketch here. I never use the freehand tools. Oh, and I need to set my grid. Set cursor snap. For some reason, this is buggy, and the 5-foot grid is supposed to have 2 snap divisions, and it doesn't, and I always have to go in and edit it. I don't know why. Alright. Ice Bear. Hello, Ice Bear. Alright. So what I'm thinking is a simple rectangular building. It is an inn with a common room where meals are served, a kitchen, a couple of private rooms, and then underneath the thatched roof is a loft area that serves as sort of a whatchamacallit, like the common sleeping area, and then probably a cellar too. So if I was to think about it, and like this place isn't that big, so we probably have a couple of private rooms that are just these. Oops. I gotta switch back to hollow fill style. Okay, so probably just a couple of 10-foot square rooms to sleep in. And then trying to think how to do this here, because I'm gonna need a kitchen, but that's gonna block the whoops. And then we're gonna want to do a kitchen, but I guess we could do it like that. That's big enough. But I'm also going to need stairs to go down. Actually, this whole thing could be the stairs, and then this is the hallway. So, and whoops, and then this will be the common room for eating. Right, so we've got 4 private rooms, one of which is probably used by the innkeepers. An area for the kitchen, stairs down to the cellar, and then a hallway that leads back to the common rooms, and then the upper floor is just a loft area over. Yeah, well, it'll work. We'll start with the ground floor and see what we got. Okay, so fairly simple layout, though I really don't like having to chew up that much space for the stairs. But and then we can figure on, a front door here, and then doors into the rooms, and then there are shuttered windows, a door. So then there's going to have to be a chimney for the oven, And then we're going to end up with very steep stairs. Actually, we're probably going to end up with almost a ladder down. Alright, but, I mean, this is enough to work with. So let's redraw, let's zoom extents. Alright. So, I mean, the easiest thing to do first is we'll just start with some simple walls. And we don't need sheet effects active just yet. Okay. So we're just going to do some simple walls and black lines. We're going to do the map basically first, and then we're going to make it fancy. And we'll throw it on the walls. I could be using the drawing tools here, but fill style is solid. I'm thinking wattle walls or wattle and daub walls. So basically woven wood covered with mud and plaster. But I'd like to, if I can get a nice, like, half-timbered effect where the corners have timber posts, that would be kind of cool. So we'll try that and see what we can do here. So we'll do the outer wall, and then nope, and then let's do the inner walls. Now, it's very important that I make continuous paths so that the corners are created correctly. And then, yeah, and then we're just gonna, yep, and then we need some interior walls. And, like, honestly, Campaign Cartographer is a very powerful little piece of software. And if we just wanted to make a very simple thing, you can see if I hide the sketch layer, that it'll just make the walls all pretty and stuff. Like now it already has like wall shadows and stuff, and if I shut off the grid, bam. Like I could just put in floor backgrounds and that would be done. In fact, let's go ahead and just put in a simple floor, and then we'll just see what that looks like. Background floor 1. And then, what do we want? I mean, it should, like, realistically, it should be a dirt floor. But we're going to assume that they went and planked over it. So let's see, what do we have for planks? Let's just do some vertical planks. And if we just throw a floor down behind everything. Oops. I didn't realize that. Okay, let's just try that again. I didn't realize that I still had the line thickness set up. And I could go change the entity, but not. So, I mean, there you go. You can already see that, like, it's already building a fairly nice map, and if we wanted to change, like, if we wanted to change fill style by layer, walls, then we could, if we wanted to, like, if we wanted to make this a brick building, let's say, gray bricks. Like, there you go. You already have a fair, like, you wouldn't do brick on planks like that. But already, you know, it's a fairly nice looking thing, but yeah, let's undo that. And if we decide we want to get fancy with it, we could. And then we're going to turn off the sheet effects because those do eat up some processing power. And we are just going to work with this for now. Okay. So, let's see. We're going to use the wall features here. And this will actually let us break in different wall features. So if we wanted a window, shuttered windows, doors, simple doors, complex doors. You know, it's got a nice, decent library. So if we wanted to put just a wooden door. Let me turn my grid back on. Right there. And again, if we turn back on the sheet effects, you can see it cuts out the wall shadow. Though we're gonna wanna fix that. So, but all right, let's think this through here. Okay, at the very least, I know. Nope. We're gonna have interior doors, but I actually, thinking ahead, I do not want them to actually be 5 feet wide, which is what the program defaults to. I suppose it could, but I actually want to take off, because I'm thinking ahead to how I want to do this. I actually want to take off one foot. So that would be scaling by 0.8. And we'll see how that works. Actually, let's get complicated already. So I'm going to go back to my walls because, like I said, I want to do this fancy. And so I want to do a timbered look on this. So we're going to go back. We're going to work on the walls. And then... Oops. I don't need special effects turned on just yet. Thank you. But what I want to do is I want to add... And this was a mistake right here. Alright. I guess it wasn't really a mistake, but... Let's see. Because I want... Yeah. I want an even number of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I just do the same thing that I had already done? No, okay, that works. Alright, because what I want to do is I actually want to add some posts to the corners. Right, and what we're going to do is I am going to create a new grid here. 1-foot grid. 5-foot grid. No, 1-foot grid. 1 snap. Okay. Okay, and now you can see it's giving me okay. It's now giving me this, a 1-foot grid. Okay. Now what this is going to let me do, let me make a 1-foot by 1-foot square, which is going to be the posts. And then let's just do 5-foot grid 2 snap. Okay. And then, turn my grid back on. I should be able to add in posts. We're going to skip the posts there. And this is why I wanted to have even, an even number, so that I can have these posts. Oh, and then copy from the center of that, and then we're going to need, because the interior walls are going to need their posts too. And you can see that I wanted the I wanted the, that's why I want space for the doors. Okay? Because now, if we were to change even just the colors here of the actual walls, and if we were to change them to, let's say, a gray, a medium gray, and then activate sheet effects. Okay, you can see we already now have this nice look of plastered walls with these timbered posts running between them, which is exactly the effect that I wanted. Okay, and then now if we were to put in a door, and this is why, and I'm going to zoom in really close to make sure that the door actually fits right between the posts, and voila, doesn't that look great? The problem is I think that put the door on the wrong sheet. It did not. But now what I want to do is we're going to copy these effects to the wall symbols. Paste. And then copy. Because the walls should be... So, like, the door should be casting a shadow, too. Right? And now it is. So, voila. Alright, and now we can add interior doors. Just like so. Okay, and then we can also add a door to the kitchen between the posts, just like so. Very nice. Already like that. Okay. Now, if we get... Now, we can get really fancy with this if we wanted to. Yeah, okay. Maybe. Alright. Let's try it. Let's make some fancy looking floors. Because like I said, we're now... There is no reason at all for this map to be as fancy as it is, and nonetheless, we are going to do that. Okay. So, we are going to do... Oops. Planks. Gotta find my planks. Okay. So now we are going to do the floor in sections here. Where here we have vertical planks. Here we have vertical planks. And then... here and here. Here and here. Here and here. And then in the common room, we have vertical planks, and then if we were to activate the sheet effects on that, you can see that now the planks change direction depending on the construction of the building, looking like they was done just a little bit haphazardly, which is nice. And then we should do the same in the kitchen, where except that I'm eventually going to have to cut out... I'm going to have to leave a cutout in the floor, because we are going to have a ladder or stairs that run down to the lower floor. So, like so. Of course, the other thing we're going to need is we're going to need a fireplace. And I don't have a fireplace, do I? We might need to make a fireplace. Unless... I feel like I have a special... Somewhere in here I have a special library of fireplaces. Is it Shissar? Fireplaces? Let's see. What does that look like? Alright, I mean that looks good, right? And then we can fancy it up from there. Because we're going to have to cut through the wall with the fireplace. I also don't know why it's placing it on. Okay, and let's set this normal. Rotate it around, and that is way too big. That is still way too big. It doesn't need to be a huge fireplace. Okay. Alright. Now, of course, a fireplace needs a chimney. Let's deactivate the sheet effects again so that we can work on this. So if we go to walls... Okay. And I'm gonna need I'm gonna need gray bricks. Okay. And then we are just gonna need fill style. And then we'll go back to my 1 foot grid, 1 foot snap here. Okay. Nope. Nope, let's have that go. It's got to go through the wall. And I think the wall symbols... I think I can get away with putting the wall symbols above the walls. Or what's wrong? Oh, okay. That's actually the problem. So... let's put the sheets back. Because the order that the sheets are the order that the sheets draw. So, what I need to do is... the fireplace did end up on the wrong sheet. So I want you on layer wall features, and I want you on sheet wall symbols. Okay. Alright, and I think... Alright, that actually doesn't look terrible. But then what we're going to need is under the fireplace, we're going to need a hearth. Because the fireplace just wouldn't open onto a... the fireplace wouldn't just open onto a... like a, whatchamacallit. You just have the wood floor right under it. So let's do vertical bricks. Okay. And put my grid back on. And then we're just gonna have a hearth underneath it that just sits in front of it. Like so. And that's barely even visible, like nobody would even notice that, but you know, you gotta get it right. This is just how I operate. You gotta get it right. And then two, if we go back to the walls, because now I'm looking at the posts, and I'm thinking, let's turn off the sheet effects. Okay. In fact, let's hide everything except the walls here, just to make it easier. And we are going to change the fill style. And we're going to select by color 0, so that we only get the black stuff. And then what we're going to do is... change it to a dark wood texture if I have one. I gotta have something that's like a wood texture. I think if I just use that, that should be fine. And now if we show all, and activate the sheet effects. Oh, I guess I can actually delete, I can eliminate the sketch now, or at least hide the sketch. Okay. Yeah, so that actually looks pretty nice. Except there should be an extra post. Oops. Alright. I'm not quite grabbing it. So we're just going to move it here, and then we'll move it into position using a center snap. Okay. And then from the center of you to the center of the wall. And there we go. Alright. Alright. That looks good. And, oh shoot. And for some reason, I accidentally changed the fill style of the fireplace. Like so. Alright. Okay. Now the other thing is that I need shuttered windows because the players are breaking in through one of the windows. So let's make sure we're on the right. Oops, I didn't mean to click help. That was the wrong thing to click. Okay. And I kind of... I guess 3 feet... Oh, let's go back to my 5-foot grid. And turn the grid on. And I kind of... I guess... Oh. That's why I had scaled it down. Okay. Alright, and then -1 for the scale to flip. Nope. Okay, we're actually... It is still something of a mystery to me how exactly Campaign Cartographer decides which direction things actually go in. Alright. Now, if we want to... we can go ahead and just put some basic furniture around. And I'm actually going to hide the floors just to make this a little bit easier to work with right now. So we just need... Whoops. Oh, wait. DD has fireplaces too? I never... Oh. There's fireplaces there that I could have drawn on. Alright. Okay. So obviously, the first thing we're going to need is in each of the private rooms, we're going to need a couple of beds, which are huge, unnecessarily huge. Like, okay, and then I still want to use the snap just so that everything looks nice and even, but a bed should be... Let's make it 0.67. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to save ourselves a little bit of effort and just mirror copy that across the building. Okay. And then, let's see here. In the kitchen, we really don't need that much. Again, this is a very simple... Okay, so this is a very simple place. That table is huge. So, just need... Alright. Just need a table, and then something that can work as a cupboard. And you know what? I'm going to turn off the snapping now. Oops. Going to turn off the snapping, and we're just going to do this the easy way. So, let's see. We'll put a cupboard next to the fireplace there, and a little sideboard, and then put a little set normal. We'll make that a normal size stool. Put a little stool in the corner there, and then I don't know. Do I have some containers or whatever? We don't need stoves. This isn't that fancy of a place. But let's see. We'll... That barrel is too big. And then we'll have a barrel there. And stack. And a thing of... sacks here. And then, I don't know why I decided there needed to be a stool there to sit on. You're not paid to sit. So put some bags there. And let's see. Just some stuff. Now, here's the thing is I never trust Campaign Cartographer to put symbols on the right sheets when I leave it to its own devices. And it is important that the symbols end up on the right sheets because I want vertical symbols to cast shadows. So we're going to make sure that everything is on symbols. And then we're going to show all, and we're just going to take a look at how this looks now. Oops. Show all. Okay. And activate the sheet effects, and we're just going to see how it looks. You know what? And we're just going to erase, layer, sketch. Oh, layer sketch is frozen, isn't it? Thaw, layer sketch. Layer sketch. And you can see I keep switching back and forth between using the keyboard commands and using the using the mouse. But there you go. Now you can see it adds some shadows. There's some furniture. The furniture has shadows. It's actually a very nice map already, and I'm very happy with it. And this is way more extensive than I needed, and I guess this has been just a half hour of work, so that's good. We can go ahead and put some furniture, oops, in the common room, which is basically going to consist of, oops, where did my symbol? Symbol map go out. There we go. So now, let's see, set normal. So we could set a couple of tables around. We could do square tables with chairs. Those are actually a bit too big, so we're going to scale them down a bit. Or we could do one rectangular table. You know what? That's what we're going to do. We're going to do one big rectangular table. With benches along it. Yeah. And then... Oops. Okay. We're going to rotate that 90, and then we're going to have to switch the scaling. And we want the benches kind of pushed in. Which means we're going to have to bring the table up to the front. So the table is in front of the benches. I guess the benches could be longer. The benches should be at least as long as the table. Let's not wipe out the table, though. I want the benches to be slightly shorter so that it's obvious that they're benches under the table. Yeah, that'll do. And then... Okay, and then we'll front them. Okay. There we go. And then... set normal. And then we'll put a comfy chair in the corner for someone to sit in. That's it. This is a very simple place, simple roadside inn. Everybody just eats at one table when meals are served. And now we just need to fill in the hole here. And I really, really hate... That's actually exactly what I want, set normal more. Okay. So I am going to need basically just something that indicates that is basically an open pit. And then we're going to have to... I think if we just do this, we make it dark enough. You know what we need? Let's see. Okay. We're going to add a new sheet for pits. And then I think we're just going to blur it a little bit. And then we are going to add an inner glow. Oh. And then we just have to change. We'll put that on the pit sheet. Yeah, that'll work. It works. Okay. And then we're just going to make this just a little bit smaller. Nope. here, there's also going to be a ladder, because that's going to climb up to the loft. Except, I just put that on the pit layer. So we're going to have to adjust the layers to the symbols layer, and then symbols. Alright. Except I want that to be above the wall. Okay, so let's put the ladder on. Let's do that on the wall symbols. And then I should have a separate... So these should be on the up and down layer. So layers are used to organize different items, like furniture or what have you. Now that looks good. Though actually, I actually have the sense. Nah, I'm gonna keep it like that. Okay. Alright. So layers are used to organize groups of assets together, and sheets are used to determine what special effects get applied to different stuff. So, and I just want to make sure that all my furniture now is on the right layer and sheet. Even though it looks like it's all displaying properly. Okay. So, it should all be on layer furniture, and it should all be on sheet symbol. Yeah, and that all looks good. And now, I mean, right there we have basically that, like, I could take this to the game just as is. I sure as heck don't even need to map the loft or anything else, but that would, of course, ruin the fun if I didn't. So let's go ahead and now let's go ahead and throw together the loft. And I am going to hide the floors. I'm going to go to the wall layer. Okay. Then I'm going to hide the floors. And then I'm also going to hide the furniture. Okay. So that we are just working with the stuff we need here. I'm going to turn my grid and snap back on. And I am going to copy... You know what? I am even going to hide the wall features. But not the up and down. Oop, and and my doors are not on the proper layer. Because they are still showing up. So we're going to make sure that they are on my wall features layer. Okay. So now let's we're going to copy basically the entire map, and we're going to move it from here, and we're going to give ourselves 15 feet of space. Okay. And we're going to use this as the basis for our loft. But I'm going to take out... No, I'm not. Alright, let's think about this here. Okay, what I really want to do is... The loft is underneath the thatched roof. So realistically, let's go back to my sketch layer here. Let's do a quick little drawing. Okay. So realistically, there should be a portion of it. Oops. Let's go back to a hollow fill. And let's make sure that I'm on the right sheet. That's one of the things that drives me crazy, though, that now that there's the sheet and the layer organization, that you have to get them both right. Okay. So realistically speaking, the loft is under the thatched roof. So it shouldn't quite be as wide as the building. Some of the thatched roofs, some of the angle of the thatched roof should eliminate, or should kind of cut off part of the building, if that makes sense. Okay. So we're going to do this here. Take out all the plaster walls, all the wattle and daub. Is there also a post missing? There seems to be a post missing, but is it just on the wrong sheet? No, I really did miss a post. Okay. So we're going to go to walls, hide everything that isn't walls. Okay, and then we are going to MIRCPY, we're going to mirror copy this post across the hallway. And then we're going to have to do the same thing upstairs. Except that all of these posts are actually going to be, or some of these posts are actually going to be under the loft ceiling. We'll have to figure that out. Okay, now show all, but then we're going to hide our floors again. Okay. Oh, and I don't need sheet effects turned on. Okay, so we are gonna erase our plaster walls. Okay. We're also gonna erase the downstairs ladder because we know we're not gonna need it. And then we're going to erase some of the posts. We're gonna assume some of the posts stop at the floor of the loft, and then some of them run all the way up to the ceiling itself. Okay. Okay, and the chimney will, of course, also be visible. So then we're going to end up with this area being the loft. That's actually where the floor of the loft is going to be. Okay. Now, the question is, do I have a good fill style that looks like that would pass for thatch? Because essentially the two long walls, you'd probably get away with. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay. We're going to get a little fancy here. Okay. And we're going to go to floors. And then we're going to go to background floor 1. And then I'm going to show you. And then okay, let's make this black. Oops. snap. So we're gonna... See ya, Ice Bear. I know I'm not really interacting much with the chat. I am watching it, so if anybody wants to chat, I am here. I do see the chat. But obviously I'm not going to explain too much of what I'm doing here. Now... Okay. So that is going to be the section of roof that is visible. And then these are the posts that we're going to eliminate. Oops. Alright. Okay. So if we were looking down on the building from above and making a horizontal slice through the building, okay, then obviously we would see a portion of the building's roof visible to either side of the loft. Okay, and then as a wall, apply. We are going to... The first thing we're going to do, I'm going to hide my floors again for just a second. The front and back of the building, okay, still be visible. Like there would be facing wall, you know. There would be the plaster walls at either end of the building. Okay. Okay, and then... Okay. Something is wrong with my posts. They are not on the right layer. But I don't want my sketch or my ladder. So let's make sure they're all on the same layer. Okay. And then... Now we're going to go to another bitmap fill, and I'm going to use a much darker dry grass. Okay. And we're going to use a 1 foot thick wall. Okay, now, if I haven't done this wrong, then if I show everything except the sketch, which I really don't need the sketch anymore, and then I turn off the grid, and then I turn on sheet effects, that is darkening. Why did it blur the floors so much? Okay, I'm guessing that those are on the wrong layers too. I have not been diligent about checking my layers and sheets every time. So that should be on background floor and background floor and on sheet floor. Except then the chimney should be on walls. Okay. Yeah, it's still making that really, really dark. What is happening on the floors? Oh, okay. It's got a huge inside glow to give some texture. Okay. It's not quite what I want. All right. What if this was just on the walls? What if this was just wall? No, that's not going to do it. Okay. You know what? I think I'm probably overthinking this, honestly. Hey, Wyvern Master 23. Thanks. The music is actually completely unlicensed. It's unlicensed, or not unlicensed. What is it called? It's royalty free from YouTube Studio. So it is what it's just, I made a quick playlist of just fairly relaxing music. Oops. My floors are not on the proper layer either, are they? Okay. And I'm doing this the quick and easy way. Here. Just to... We'll see how this all looks, and then if I have to, I can always fiddle with stuff in the end, but let's put the floor in the loft. And let's go back to my normal grid. Okay. Okay. Okay, and then let's get rid of the sketch again. I don't need it anymore. Whoops. Erase by layer, sketch. Okay. So yeah. And now that's the loft. And it's got the posts. You know what? It doesn't need these posts. Okay, and then this stuff down below should be visible underneath the loft. The furniture should be visible from the floor above. As should the floor. So we are going to copy the furniture, the chair, and that one section of floor here like so, but then we're going to change, then we're going to move all of it to that pit sheet that I made. And what that should do is it should blur it. Then we're going to move it to the lower background. And it should blur it out a little bit. Except... There we go. And then, just to drive it home... make it darker. So... oh. Darker is negative lightness. Alright, but that's not... okay. But it's not darkening the table or the chair. And isn't that kind of a problem? I mean, I guess it's really not. Like, when you get down to it, it's not really a problem. And I still don't like the wall effect. We'll come back to it. But meanwhile, up here, what I really need are some patches of straw for people to sleep on. But I don't think I have anything like that. But I do have mold that I can recolor like straw. Okay, but we need to put it on the flat symbols layer, because basically up here is just straw pallets to sleep on. And this is furniture. And I'm having trouble with the... okay. Okay, so now... and let's turn off the snap. And we need to make it a little bit longer. Yeah, alright. Oops. Okay. And we just need to move that one off the pillar. Okay, and then, so, if you don't have much coin and you can't afford a private room or a private room isn't available, you can sleep in the loft and pull up a patch of straw. It's, let's do that just so that they look a little less uniform. Yeah. Okay. And now we just need to do the cellar. And the cellar is actually fairly easy, I think. Let's turn off sheet effects. Alright, and then this whole thing has now taken us an hour. Whoops. Alright. Let's again hide the floors. Okay. Alright, and I'm just going to take the outer walls of the building so that I know what the limits of the cellar need to be. And then we're just going to end the ladder. Okay. Because the cellar is actually going to be super easy. Okay, we're going to start with a floor. And then we're going to go to background floors 1. Okay, and the floor is just going to be packed dirt. So we'll just go with this dirt bitmap. Okay, and it is just going to be this. Okay, and then we can erase the walls. And then for the walls themselves, Okay, because it's just packed earth. It was obviously a cellar that was just dug out. But then what we're going to need to do is they would have had to put, you know, put walls in. Like, they would have had to use something to shore up the walls, and we're just going to assume that they just stacked basically stacked rocks. Not even masonry, it's just stacked up rock to keep the floor, or to keep the wall from... And once again, it has moved... Well, first of all, I'm just looking at this now, and I want to move this ladder just a skosh. Oh, okay, wait. That's maybe not what I needed to do. What I'm noticing is the ladder seems to be... it needs to be on Symbol's wall, and it needs to be on up and down, and it is not either of those. And now it is... So now it actually climbs up, and then we probably need to do the same thing for this ladder down here. And that needs to be on layer up and down, and sheets, Symbol's wall. Okay. And then the other thing I want to do is I actually want to just change... Let's just see how that looks. If I just activate shift X. No, that's a little bit... Oh. Alright, that works. Okay. And now we have a cellar. And actually, if we were to show all right now... Like, this actually looks really good just as it is. I do feel like the walls, the plaster walls need... No, I mean... So, we can go here into the cellar. That is a big cellar! Like, that is a huge cellar for a building like this. Because they had to dig that out. Alright. So... Oops, okay. I always hate... Okay. When you have two objects that are overlapping, let's see, what do we got? So, then sometimes you have to... Hello, person! Sometimes you have to take things out in order to separate one object from another. So we're gonna, you have to look and see. Whoops. And we are gonna actually remove one item at a time here first, by entity tag. Okay. That was not the one I wanted to remove. Okay. So we can actually, like, every entity in the game or in the map has a specific tag number. Okay, and I just, because the cellar is just huge for the space. So when you have two entities that are sitting right on top of each other, and it's hard to select one or the other, then you can use that info feature to get a list of all the entities underneath your cursor. And then you get all the data for them. You can see one is on sheet floors, one is on sheet walls. You can see the colors they're set to, the layer they're on, and then buried in here is their tag number, 11321, 11320. And that's a unique identifier that you can use to call out that specific entity. And now we can just throw some stuff down here in the cellar. And again, these barrels, I don't know why the barrel symbols are just so huge. And we don't need snapping on, so we're going to put a couple of barrels in the corner. A little crate here. I don't know what's in the crate. It doesn't matter. And then there's a sack stacked on the crate. And then we'll do one of those... stack of other sacks that have grain and stuff, you know, like flour and what have you, and then a few more bags of like veggies and stuff, and then maybe there's a little chest where they hide their valuables in. Baskets. Baskets can hold stuff. Yeah, and a couple of baskets. And there we go. Voila. Now the other thing we can do, and I might end up really screwing myself up if I do this, but the other thing we can do just to add another little niceness to this all. Niceness. That's my term for it. I'm gonna be honest, I have been having kind of a rough week, and my ability to even just talk is shot. Running the game the other night was a complete struggle for me. I couldn't string the words together. Okay, and then let's do an edge feed. 5 is going to be too much. It's not working. I don't know. I actually don't need a fade. I don't need to get fancy here. Okay, and then we can copy the same to the upper floor, since the grass around the building would be visible. Okay, and then down below we just have solid. So that actually, with the walls, that doesn't actually look that great. It works. And then you know what? I am going to move this. I'm just going to move it like that. Okay. And then what I think I'm going to do, I really don't like how the upper floor is playing out. How the walls of the upper floor are playing out. And then... yeah, I don't like how the whole thatched roof effect is playing out. So we're going to add two sheets. One for thatch roof and one for thatch wall. And the wall should be above the roof. It should draw above the roof. Okay. And now we're going to change this and this to be on the thatched roof. background layer. We're going to make it background layer 2 just to separate it from the first one. And then we're going to make it grass 2. And then we are going to see if we can't. And now this is going to be the thatched wall. And that's still going to be on the walls layer because that's still walls. And then we're going to make that thatch 3. Okay. And I... Whoa. And if we show all... And the pit needs to move. The pit needs to be the lowest thing above the background. Right. And then... Okay, and now... Let's copy the wall shadow. And then we're going to copy... I don't want the bevel. Oh. And I put that on the wall. Okay. No, because then I get that stupid hard edge on the outside. Alright. Let's try something more drastic here. Deactivate sheet effects. Whoops. Show all. I am having so much trouble producing the effect that I want to produce. Okay. I'm going really crazy just because I want this to look like a dormer. And I feel like the easiest way to do it I wonder if I'm overthinking this, and if I just don't need to make it a wall. Just make the whole thing a wall. And just call that good enough. Oh. That was not what I thought it was. I thought I was drawing a polygon there. And I'm also not on my half snap. And this is always... Remember I was kind of joking about how I get to a point where I lose my patience with ever doing anything with, I lose... Yeah, see, and that just looks like... What would it look like without the bevel? I mean, not bad. You know what? I wonder... Nope. I think I may just have to settle for... Alright, well, either way, let's... Let's just work with those as unique entities, but then let's give them their own... But let's give them their own sheet so that I can play with the special effects on them separately. But now... Now I don't like... My problem is that there's a little bit of wall overlap there. Okay, so what if we just trim you, redraw, apply, activate sheet effects. Still is overlapping. I don't know. I need to keep playing with it and find a better way to make the effect that I'm looking for. But who am I talking to? I'm talking out loud. Jot Ha is asking, who am I talking to? I'm just talking. I'm talking out loud as I work. Yeah, and I'm not going to deny there is a steep learning curve to this, to Campaign Cartographer. It's really, it's designed, like it was, so once upon a time it was the only mapping software that there was. It was one of the first mapping softwares that came out. And again, that was back in like 94 or 95 when I had to send away for it by responding to a magazine ad. But I think I'm going to call it done though. I mean, I don't quite like the way the upper floor looks with the thatched roof peeled away. And what I really need to do is I need to sit down a sheet effect that will do what I want. Actually, wait a minute. Alright. Okay, there is something I can do by just changing the direction of the shadows is kind of what I want to do, but not quite. What I really want, I need to look, what are my options for beveling? Lighted bevel, but not in the global sun direction. Oh, I don't know what half this shit does. So let's say 0. Oh, see, now that's getting closer to what I wanted. Look at that. That's something. But I need it to go... I've never played with lighted bevel. But what I need it to do is just do... intensity. It's getting close to what I want, to the point where I can make an angled appearance. But I don't know enough about this, and I'm not gonna sit here and stream me going through help files or whatever. I will keep playing with the sheet effect on that, but for right now, as far as the thatched wall goes, let's at least do that. Alright, I mean, it looks good. It is a nice little inn, 3 levels with, a loft, nothing fancy, but then again, like I said, my players are just breaking into it to investigate a murder that happened inside, and I wasn't expecting them to do that. So it is just something that I can have on the virtual tabletop, and of course I can import it into Fantasy Grounds if I want to, and do add lighting and doors and walls and all of that stuff. But it works. It works as it is, so I'm going to call that good enough. And I mean, that's not bad. What is that, an hour and 15 minutes of work? So I will take it. But otherwise, it was just a fun thing to do because I felt like working on the map. And the funny thing, Jatha, is if I wasn't doing a stream, I would still... This is just how I work. I'm constantly talking through things as I do them. But beyond that, I think I'm just going to call it a night. And, that was fun. And I didn't really set out to, try and teach anyone how to use Campaign Cartographer or anything. It does have a learning curve, but it's not as steep as it seems. And it has excellent... tutorials and documentation that just kind of walks you through it. So you don't need to make anything as complicated as this. And it is actually fairly simple. I think I showed off my overland map that I've also been working on. But I'll go back to that. I think this is it. Yes. It does auto-save, so you don't have to worry. But something like this, a simple overland map, even with the nice fancy borders, I have to fix the borders. They don't quite work the way I want them to. But even if a simple map like this, if you just follow the step-by-step tutorial that you get with Campaign Cartographer, you could do... I'm going to actually hide the political borders for the moment because they're not helping the map. You could do something like this in about an hour of just following the tutorial, and you would have a nice map. And I know it seems like a lot of work to have put down all the trees, but there are very, very simple tools to do stuff like that too. Maybe at some point I'll just stream making a really simple, an overland map like this, because it really isn't hard to learn how to do that. And then even the dungeon designer thing, there is a very show you honestly. Yeah, we're gonna make a new dungeon here. We're just gonna start with a predefined template. We're just gonna make a very basic. I have a lot of extra templates installed too, so alright. So let's do this one. Turn off the grid. Now I'm gonna... Here we go. Okay. I don't know why the grid... Okay. Okay, add room. Oh, I have all my settings off, so we'll make a dirt background for the floor, and then for the walls, we'll do brown bricks. No, we'll do flagstone for the floor. Okay, brown flagstone, brown brick. Okay. And now if we were to just draw... Okay. And now it has built that basic room for us, and then we just turn on the sheet effects, we turn off the grid, and voila! Oh, it puts a grid in by default with the template. We can hide the grid. Okay, and voila! Like, just with that, you already have a room. And then, if you wanted to add a corridor, let's make it 5 feet. And then you can say B to connect to an existing wall. And then we just want to run this hallway there. And now we can see, bam, it has now opened that in there. I'm not really... Okay, I'm just fiddling with the settings here, and then we'll add another corridor. And B, and then B. So you can very quickly, like, if you just want to carve out a very simple dungeon like this, you can go ahead and just do it very, very quickly and easily. I'm just using the basic tools, and we can put a treasure chest in here. Oh, these rooms are huge, though, because I wasn't really paying attention to my sizes and stuff. And we'll put a summoning altar in here. We can put some wall features. I already showed like doors and stuff. Traps. More furniture. This is the dungeon's banquet hall. You know, so if you're having an event, you can have it hosted there. And then, what do we got? Weapons, statues. Should be other stuff here. Oh, yeah. And then, here's the sarcophagus. And then again, you can see that it just does all the pretty fancy special effects and stuff for you. So if you just want to carve out a very simple dungeon, it just takes you a few minutes to learn to use these basic drawing tools. We can even do things like caves. Like let's have a lava cave. Let's put a lava cave here. Whoa, here's a cave. And now the cave is full of lava. And then you can see it shades it in. You know, we can put a lake in the middle of the lava. You know, what is this? Oh, different terrains. So if you just wanted to add, like, here's some grass. Here's a grass island in the lava. Oops. That was my fault. But, so, it does have a learning curve, but the learning curve is not as steep as it seems. It's just that once you kind of get used to using the program, you don't, like, I don't really use the drawing tools, the default drawing tools myself. I tend to instead just build things up. But you can go ahead even here and just use like, oh, a cave with a wall. Check that out. That's even nicer. Yeah. So, a little bit of artifacting sometimes happens, though. Yeah, okay. But anyway, so yes, it's got a learning curve. The learning curve is not as steep as it seems. And there are also a number of add-ons, too. There is City Designer, which I've not played with very much at all. But even with City Designer, let's just grab a small city. But one of the neat things about City Designer is, so first of all, we can just add houses. Woo. And I just have the default symbol set selected. And we can add a V-shaped house. Voila. Okay, but then you can also have it, I'll show you, this is a really neat feature where you can have it generate a random street. Ooh, here we go. And then on the other side of the street, stuff like that. But then you can also place you can place buildings from the library here. And then there's a bunch of different libraries. And then there's actually a number of different symbol sets too. I think I have the default one set up, which I don't really care for. But like, I think this one's one of the nicer ones. Yeah, and you can see this one's got a nicer look to it. And then again, you just let it put on its sheet effects, and it adds drop shadows and everything else. So you can very quickly and easily throw together a city. With City Designer, but each of these things is a separate thing. There's also, I have perspectives. I never work with perspectives. So perspectives is about to crash my computer. Oh no, it's not. Okay. So perspective lets you do isometric things. I didn't draw this. This is just one of the examples that comes with it. But again, it's got the default drawing, or it's got the drawing tools to do it. So, rectangular room, choose width. Wall width is 2 feet. First corner here. Second corner. And then wall height. And then voila. Now I have this. Now I just have this perspective room. You know, and then again, you can place symbols down. It's got the same, got symbol libraries, so we can put a table in there and chairs. You do have to, like, obviously, you have to learn how to order stuff. So we're going to put that in the front so that the chair is behind it. But I haven't really played with perspectives at all. So I really don't know all that it can do. And I know extrude solid. Just looking at the tooltips to see what stuff is. Okay, so here's settings. Oh, and then it's got, look, all these individual ooze wall, water, floor. That looks awful. I don't know why that's no color, but I'm sure somewhere in there is you can Do color. But actually, it's a crime that I haven't played more with perspectives, because this is actually really neat. That's actually really cool. But I'm going to call it a night here. It's been a fun stream to kind of hang out on, and I'll probably do more mapping in the future. And I mean, if anybody wants, drop a comment if you would like an actual like overland mapping tutorial where we just quickly throw together a quick and dirty overland map using just the basic tools that the system the program provides. But otherwise, thanks everybody for hanging out. It has been a fun time. And yeah, and then my players will be breaking into that inn next week. And we'll see what happens.